before we move on. The one of the things that was part of a general massive outrage and uproar on Friday night post the Everton game, Saturday morning, was the pictures of Aurier and Lloris and
Dina
and Sissoko on the pitch having a bit of a laugh or whatever. Now, is it possible, because we can use the benefit of hindsight now, and as I said, I don't really need an answer to this. Is it possible that Aurier was like, well, we didn't lose, but we didn't win, so that's actually job done. You know, he's out the door now. That's job done. Maybe they knew the criteria that he needed to win to secure his job, and he didn't lose, and they didn't win. Sorry, and so that was job done as far as they were concerned with Mourinho. Doesn't need an answer. just putting that out there.
Conspiracy theory, Steve.
Well, yeah, love a good conspiracy theory. So, yeah. Andy, you can move on.
Yeah. I was just going to move on to you, Carl, because you've got a book out. Is that right?
I wrote a book in the heady days of 2018, 2019. The original concept was, after kind of seeing all the world supporters groups going around the stadium, and we were moving back into White Hart Lane for that season, just to find out a little bit more about supporters clubs around the world, and on the season that kind of Spurs came home. Obviously, as we know, that season we didn't come home for quite a while.
Yeah.
And it would have spoilt the concept quite considerably had we not made a Champions League final. But I've been fortunate enough to make a few friends all around the world. I've got one or two sofas to sleep on in various corners, and it's just fascinating, really, to discover how people discover Spurs, or support Spurs as kids and move away to the other side of the world. So it's called Being That Number, and that was the concept, really, that just kind of, there's these Spurs fans who are absolutely everywhere, getting up in the middle of the night to watch games and gather together. It's a real amazing experience, actually.
It is incredible. It is incredible how I think it's like Fiona in Australia. She has to get up at whatever god awful hour to watch Spurs, and of course, guys in the States and Texas, they have to get up at whatever hour. And and then you get the idiots on Twitter saying, well, if you're in another country or if you're American, you're not a true Spurs fan. And of course they are. They're as much a Spurs fan as we are.
Well, and part of it was to stamp some of that out, to show some of that. And I think the thing is that there are some people who dream of stepping in the stadium one day. There's some people who were born, stone's throw from the stadium, have moved away for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It doesn't get much more Spurs than this for us Spurs. They have a national every year. So obviously, because it's such a huge country, they come to one place, all the different chapters, they have a full weekend. It's a massive party, and they bring ex-Spurs players out. They fly them out for like a Q&A.
Oh, wow.
And I think it was before 2018, they hadn't picked a single weekend that Spurs won on. I mean, you think about the build-up and the anticipation for this, and everyone getting together with their mates all around Australia, and they didn't get a single win for the best part of about 14 years. They had weekends where it got bumped to Monday Night Football, and therefore, they didn't get a game at all. They were picking big games like North London derbies and things, and that wasn't happening. So then they started picking Burnleys and Boltons, and then obviously we'd always manage to snatch a draw from the jaws of victory that way. So in the year in the season that I did the book, I think we played Burnley, and Darren Anderton was there, apparently just slagging off what a disgusting side Burnley were, and how they were just kicking us around the park. But
nothing's changed.
not a great deal, but it is astonishing, the lens that people go to.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think there's a group of Scandinavians that come over quite regularly, and there's the Spurs Italia group that I think about, I don't know, they're like 30 strong, and they're quite often coming over for most games, which is extraordinary. And they're all Italians. They're not British people, expats in Italy. So that's lovely to see. Hi, Sarah.
Hi. I one of my favourite things to do actually when I'm travelling, and when we could and travelled a fair amount, was always try and find the local Tottenham Hotspur supporters pub or place to gather. And some of my best memories of like watching a game in a pub in recent years has been in those pubs. I live in Ipswich now, so I don't live in London. There's not too many Spurs fans around in Ipswich, and there actually isn't a fan club here. And I've often toyed with creating one, but never got around to it. But they're so passionate, and actually I go in the pub and I'm like, oh my god, it's like being in a stadium. They sing all the songs while the game's on, and you struggle to find a better atmosphere in an English pub, in my opinion, unless you're on Tottenham High Road.
I went on holiday to LA a couple of years ago, and LA Spurs 7 a.m. Sunday morning kickoff. My wife was absolutely overjoyed at the fact that we were dragging her out of bed and off to the pub, and it was the game where we beat Liverpool 4-1 at Wembley. And I phoned my dad because he'd got my season ticket with my son to just kind of chat to them, and in LA in a 23 degree heat at 7 a.m. it was amazing. But I'm a member of Yorkshire Spurs, and we have regular events. We'll go down on the train together, all sorts of socials. And over lockdown, that detachment actually from being involved, the supporters club is just this bigger Spurs family that we've done quizzes, we've done so many different social things, and probably in the past 12 months, actually, as a group, we've probably become even closer still as we had when we used to see each other at matches, because we've all kind of missed Spurs. So that I do think the supporters clubs, they are a wonderful concept. It's great, and maybe this is when we kind of talk about how the game's getting away from us all as fans a little bit. Maybe this is the way that we we can try and recapture this a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally. Steve.
I don't know if you knew this already, Carl. I mean, it's interesting, obviously, that you've come onto our podcast, because this is actually, as a podcast and as a concept, this is something that we've tried to kind of get involved in or shine a light on, really, is the various Spurs groups. We managed to only get really Limerick Spurs on so far. But it's something that I've said that I'd like us to kind of to explore a lot more and expose. And certainly, as you say, just for that bit about what is involved in the commitment that they have to go to show their support for a club, especially, and I think mainly for the same reasons that you've said, really. It's just that, everyone kind of critiques and criticises these people, and that, they're not true Spurs fans because they've never been to the ground and all that sort of malarkey, which is just absolute rubbish.
Yeah.
Because they're more committed because they have to get up in the middle of the night to watch the game, where some of us would, we wouldn't. We go like, they're playing in the Asia Cup, and I've got to get up at 2:00 in the morning. Fuck off! It means nothing. I mean, so they're much more committed. So it's interesting. So is the book out at the moment?
It is.
And
it's
what
on
platforms is it on?
Yeah, so it's on Amazon, and it's an ebook and paperback, and called Being That Number. And you're absolutely right. I mean, Hong Kong Spurs. Just a quick story about Hong Kong Spurs that I thought was really nice, because it would be easy to kind of say that in all these countries every club's got fan bases, but actually the Tottenham fans are hardier. Genuinely, on more than one club said this in terms of how they do come together at 3 a.m. when the Chelsea fans aren't. And I think the Hong Kong Spurs, there's this hierarchical thing where actually, if you like, the expat British Spurs fans form one little cluster and the local fans form another. Spurs, it was everyone watches it together. There's no hierarchical structure of we're the fans from, we're the British fans, and I to be honest found that absolutely heartening. I think to my mind, it kind of summed up Tottenham and Chelsea for me a little bit, really, that actually that's what Spurs is about, and Chelsea, you could imagine that. And so I just think our personality is in all these little corners of the world. It's nice to pick up on it.
Yeah, it is great. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, good. So what we'll do, Carl, is we'll tweet out about your book on Twitter, obviously, and get that out there.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Yeah. So we've been running for about an hour and a quarter now. So did we want to do some predictions? Did you have an on this day, Jamie, or you just can't be asked? Or...
I think surely there's only one on this day, isn't there, Jay?
I didn't specifically have one, but on this day today, last year, the year before, the year before that, the year before that, the year before that, there was a football club here.
There was, mate. Oh God, yeah. Oh no. So we've got Southampton on Wednesday, and we've got Ryan in charge. He's top coach and everything. So I feel very positive about this. How do you feel about it, Steve?
Yeah, I think we're going to go hell for leather, right?
Yeah, I think so.
All the boys are going to be well up for it. Absolutely well up for it.
Is he going to go full Ozzy Ardiles?
Well, I tweeted this, so I put it on Facebook. But I said we're going to go for a revolutionary goalkeeper, 2 in defence, 1 in midfield, which will be obviously Højbjerg, and then a front 7 formation. Yeah. So it's going to be a G2-1-7, and we're going to smash the fucking shit out of Southampton 1-0.
Yeah, because they like their big losses, don't they? What about you, Carl? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think the shackles will be off. There's a great kind of Twitter account of have they mentioned 9-0 yet of this, I think 17-year-old Southampton fan who say it up after they lost 9-0, and then when they lost 9-0 again, he changed the name to have they mentioned either of the 9-0s yet? Yeah. So what he's going to call it after Wednesday when hopefully we stick 9 past them. But I think I think we'll hopefully play with much. I mean, it will be so disappointing if we go and lose 3-0 at home now. We go, oh God, can we have Jose back? But I don't think that will be the case. I think we'll be. I think we'll play with the freedom, and I'll tentatively say 3-1.
Yeah. Jamie, what do you think? We got a 1-0 and we got a 3-1.
I was on mute then. I think we're gonna. We'll draw 1-1.
1-1.
Yeah.
Negative.
Keeping our powder dry for Sunday.
Oh yeah, that's right. Draw them in, lure them in.
Yeah, full sense of security.
Yeah. Sarah?
To be honest with you, I haven't given the game much thought because we're shocking at the moment. And I haven't enjoyed
it's all going to change. It's all going to change.
I think we see a reverberation. I think I'd like to think we get away with a win. 2-1.
2-1. Okay. So that's a 1-1, 2-1, 1-0, 3-1. Simon?
I'm thinking. I don't know. I want to say 3-0. I want to be super optimistic and go with a 3-0, but I'm not sure whether we're going to just.
You're allowed to say 3-0. You are allowed to.
I know, but do I think we're really going to keep a clean sheet? Don't know. I don't know. I'll say 3-0. I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to say we're just going to be full offensive, smash them up, and then we're all going to be happy again.
Yeah. I think on Tuesday, Spurs will be banned from the Premier League and the match won't happen. But if it does go ahead, it'll be a 4-0 win, and we'll go into Sunday very positive. So.
Exactly. The win is important. Will give us some positivity for Sunday.
It will, yeah. And what about Sunday? Are we going to talk about Sunday?
I think we should.
Yeah, I think we should. What about you? What do you think, Simon? What's going to happen if we're not banned?
If we're not banned from this competition, like every single competition, we're obviously going to get banned from every single competition.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to think. Look, the reality is, I don't think we're going to pull this off. However,
De Bruyne's injured. Remember. So...
Right. Okay. I don't know. Do you know what? I'll go for it. Fuck it. I think if we get through Wednesday with a good, decent scoreline or all positive, fuck it. We can nick it. 2-1. Let's go.
Nice. Jamie?
We'll win that 2-0.
Lovely. Sarah?
Come on!
I want to do the whole self-preservation thing where I predict a loss because then it won't hurt as much.
Reverse
That's how I feel.
psychology. Yeah,
Reverse
got it.
psychology.